Last meeting, Sir Angelino discussed about line coding, specifically unipolar, polar, and bipolar signaling. Sir Angelino firstly talked about the definition of line coding. So it is basically the code used for data transmission of a digital signal over a transmission line. This process of coding is chosen so as to avoid overlap and distortion of signal, such as intersymbol interference. Next are the properties of the line coding. First is, as the code is done to make more bits transmit on a signal, the bandwidth used is much reduced. Second, for a given bandwidth, the power is efficiently used. Lastly, the probability of error is much reduced. Then he discussed the unipolar signaling. It is also called as on-off keying or simply OOK. He also discussed the advantage and disadvantage of unipolar signaling. The advantage is that it is very simple line coding technique, while the disadvantage of its signal dropping next one, the polar signaling. It is two voltage level. Binary 1 is represented by a positive pulse and binary 0 is represented by negative pulse. Then there are two polar signaling, which are the polar NRZ or polar non-return to zero, and the polar RZ or return to zero. The last topic, bipolar signaling. It is an encoding technique which has three voltage level, namely plus, dash, negative, and zero. Such a signal is called duo-binary signal. Then he also discussed the two types in this method, which are the bipolar NRZ and bipolar RZ. Then he gave also the definition of this. Lastly, he discussed the advantage, which is signal drop does not occur in bipolar type, unlike unipolar and polar, while the disadvantage of this is long string of data causes, loss of synchronization, and that's what I've learned in our previous discussion. Sir Angelo, thank you.